Guess who scored again last night? Guess who scored again last night for the Bruins, I should say. Not that you're paying attention to preseason hockey, but guess who scored last night for the Boston Bruins?
Poitras.
There you go, Mazz. What did Fluto call Poitras?
The breakout player of camp.
The breakout prospect of camp. The breakout prospect of camp. The leading scorer for the Bruins in the preseason, if you care. And after the game, pretty much Jim Montgomery spoke as if it's an automatic. He's on the team. This 19-year-old kid who they drafted in the second round last year has been a breakout prospect in camp. As we said earlier, when at first, I say that because that's what Fluto called him in The Athletic 3 days ago. And just those two words, breakout prospect, it just caught my eye because I can't remember the last time the Bruins had a breakout prospect. It's probably David Pastrnak, a breakout kid in camp who, and Pastrnak was a first-round pick, so he had a chance to make the roster right out of the chute. But a breakout prospect in camp. And so wouldn't you know it, he's a center. He's at the exact position of need, both in terms of position and just their desperate need for young talent on this team. After what we have believed to be really poor drafts by Don Sweeney, here seemingly out of nowhere comes this kid, and he's going to make the team. And I saw the lines today. He wasn't skating in the top 6, but he should be. It makes sense to play him in the top 6. And file this all under, as I've said all week, too good to be true. Too good to be true. You're telling me the year the Bruins see the retirement of Patrice Bergeron, the year that they hamstring themselves against the cap, and I said it that way on purpose. Their cap problems are intentional. They could have traded away money and had more room, but they chose not to. So the year that Patrice Bergeron retires, the year that they hamstring themselves against the cap, the year they desperately, the only path at that position is someone young emerging. And at the same time, everyone looks at their system and says they have nothing. That training camp, all of a sudden, here comes Poitras. What's his first name?
Matthew
Poitras. Here we go. All right. Okay, let's see. He's going to make the team. He's got 9 games to prove it. And that's not even a totally drop-dead kind of thing. But really, after 9 games, you got to decide, is he here or is he not? And let's see. And if he is for real, I mean, talk about a gift. Talk about backing into one. But I would just file under, knowing how things go for the Bruins. File under too good to be true. But that's my opening take. 617-779-0985. Who wants to go next?
Go ahead, Murray.
So if you are still a believer in Bill Belichick, I would love to hear your defense for him not being in on Chase Claypool, the wide receiver who was traded from the Chicago Bears today to the Miami Dolphins. The offense, is stuck in the mud. The quarterback looks lost or over it or both. Clearly, they could use help on that side of the ball. They could use a guy with height and speed who can catch. And Claypool, yeah, he's a clown. Bad attitude. That's why he's no longer a Bear. But he is 6'4". He runs a 4.40. He's got good hands. You're gonna tell me this guy couldn't have helped the offense in any way, shape, or form? Like, they should have been in on him. And I don't know why the Patriots didn't pick up the phone, why Bill didn't pick up the phone. He's a young player with a bad reputation who's in a free agent year. He should be motivated if he comes to a different team, you'd think. It seems like it would be right up their alley. Or are they not in on him because they filled up the trash can just a few days ago making a move for J.C. Jackson? He'll help the defense. He won't help the offense. So you're fine with trash on defense, but not on offense where they could use some help? It doesn't make sense. And just as an aside, looking at it for where he went, I actually trust at this point with the way the game has changed, I trust the Dolphins' judgment and Mike McDaniel's judgment on this and wide receivers and anything offensive-based more than I trust Bill right now with anything like this. They got it right with guys like Tyreek Hill and Waddle and even Braxton Berrios and that car crash guy or whatever the hell you say his name. And this is why they did it, because he's hurt and sounds like he could be done for the year. So if the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel think that Chase Claypool was interesting and it was worth making a minor move like this, you're going to try to tell me that he couldn't have been an upgrade in some way, shape, or form, or could have helped the Patriots for free? Like, it just doesn't make sense that they weren't in on this guy.
Okay, so there's that. And then you just sort of add this because It's a related topic. You watched last night, Murray?
I did.
Who was the receiver there for Chicago?
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
You know where he went, Mazz? Like in the draft?
I think he was a second rounder, wasn't he?
I just looked at it, unless I missed it. I think he went 24th overall in 2018.
Okay.
Where you took the player before him, Isaiah Wynn. So I think I got that right. Let me just double check it.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, you're right. He was first round, 24th. Yep.
And you picked Isaiah Wynn 23rd. So DJ Moore is sitting on the board there at 23 overall in the first round in 2018, and you go what Mazz affectionately termed the fat kid from Georgia.
Right, a guard.
So there you go. Add that one to the list. Mazz, what do you got?
Okay, so I'm going to touch on the Red Sox, and I know that this is not necessarily a huge thing in people's minds at the moment, so bear with me for a second. On the web this week, we've been doing sort of a series, position-by-position analysis of the Red Sox with a look to the offseason. People can find it on 985thesportshub.com, and today I got to shortstop. And, when I looked it up today, here's what I came to. The Red Sox this year, collectively at shortstop, finished 27th in the majors in OPS. Okay, fourth worst. Xander Bogaerts, who had a subpar year with the Padres, finished 7th. San Diego finished 7th. That is 20 spots. Now, here's what I'm telling you. I'm not talking about the contract. I wouldn't have given Bogaerts 11 years either. What I am talking about is the mentality that people have when it comes to prospects. Because you know what I heard from people last year? Yeah, you can't sign Bogaerts, Mazz, because they got Marcelo Myers coming. Oh, okay. So you know what happened in the year that you just threw away at the position because that's what you did? Your defense sucked. Trevor Story, who was supposed to replace Bogaerts, got hurt. So not only could he not play, he couldn't play shortstop or second base. If you had kept Bogaerts, maybe Story doesn't hurt his elbow because, again, he's trying to strengthen his arm over the winter so he could play shortstop. In the interim, Marcelo Meyer in the minors also hurt his shoulder, couldn't finish the end of the year, and did not play at Double-A. So we don't know what Marcelo Meyer is. Trevor Story doesn't look like he can produce at any position on the diamond, let alone shortstop. And Xander Bogaerts is still overall better than what most teams have at shortstop in the position. This is what they did at first base. This is what they did at shortstop. This attitude of, we have a prospect coming 3 years down the road, so we are going to flush an entire season is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It is colossally stupid. And again, with Bogaerts, they could have signed him in the spring. I wouldn't have given him the 11-year deal either, but if they had signed him early, it never would have taken that. But because people get so hung up on the idea that they have a prospect coming, you end up with a season in which you don't have a shortstop and you are one of the worst teams in the big leagues at the position. Just like you were waiting for Tristan Casas for 3 years at first base. How many seasons do you want to flush? How many? Not flush. How many seasons do you want to flush?
This is a case where you're flushing it out.
Bingo.
Not flushing it out.
Flushing it down. It's so annoying when people look at it. Yeah. So, Mike, this is the equivalent of me, like, you say you have little nits to pick. This is one that drives me bananas. Yeah, they just drafted a catcher, Mazz. Well, when's he going to be ready? Tomorrow? Like, you talk about him like he's coming tomorrow. He might not be here for 2 years. He might even suck. Who knows? I'm done.
Okay, that was premature. Are you sure that, Mazz? Go ahead. If
No.
done.
It just drives me bananas, but I'm done. I am done.
Opening takes in the books. You're ready to go to your calls. Bob and Quincy. Go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, Mike, give me a minute to not flush this out, okay? I am happy Drew Holiday is here. He's a very good player. And I think Brad and, frankly, Wick should be applauded for wanting to make bold moves to build around Jason and Jalen. But I find it astonishing and comical that rarely on this radio program that I love do I hear anyone, host or caller, say that Rob Williams is a significant loss. I called last week about this. He's a legit defensive game changer. And, Mike, your whole thing about the bench being overvalued in the playoffs, I mean, that's true, but it's obviously contingent upon availability. We have two bigs in our top six. One has an injury history on par with Rob Williams, and the other is 37. Love you, mean it, Al. Also, I don't hear anybody mention that Drew Holiday is 33. He's no spring chicken. Look, I'm going to call back in March. Jay Stu, you can mark it. When the team doesn't look quite right, and Luke Cornett is forced to play 40 minutes a night and remind everyone just how critical Rob was to this team's success.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started with Celtics fans. It's so unique. It's so different. Every other team makes a move. Well, first of all, fans of a player like the player, fall in love with the player. There's a certain amount of Patriots fans, I was chief among them, who appreciated what Jacoby Myers did for the Patriots, like Jacoby Myers. And they trade him. A lot of fans liked the move, or they got rid of Jacoby Myers for Juju Smith-Schuster. A lot of fans liked it. I say most fans liked it. But there was a segment of Patriots fans that said, wait a minute, that was a good player. They shouldn't have let him go. And they said so afterwards. Celtics fans, they spend 5 years telling you how valuable Rob Williams is, and then the Celtics trade him, and we don't get one call from I guess we just got one. We got one call from Bob and Quincy that says, hey, they might miss this guy. It's unbelievable to me, and it's maddening to me. What a lame existence it must be having a... How do you have conversations? We all just sit around and whip it out and have a circle session. Is that all that is?
Yes.
I mean, could you have had more hype around a player than Marcus Smart? I mean, just year after year and week after week, you don't understand the value of this player, and this is the heart and soul of the team. And you can't get rid of someone like Marcus Smart. You lose Marcus Smart, you lose your heart and soul, you lose your blood and guts, you lose the what, and then they trade him and not a peep. Oh, great trade. Oh, we got Porzingis. It's unbelievable to me. And every day I feel like ranting about it, so I just did. We're done. I'm done.
Feel better?
Yeah, a little bit. Ted's in Plymouth. Go ahead, Ted. What do you got?
Yeah, so if the Patriots don't make the playoffs this year, and it doesn't look like they're gonna, they need to part ways with Bill. Bring in John Gruden, trade up top five. Well, what's wrong with Gruden? He turned the Raiders around. Look at what he did with Carr. He made Carr the best years of his career.
No, 20 years ago he turned the Raiders around. How did you do the second time?
Carr had his best years under Gruden.
Mm-hmm.
So just let me finish out your plan. John Gruden to coach and then trade up into the top five. So they're going to hire John Gruden with this thing hanging over his head with the emails and whatnot. And even if he got done dirty, I mean, it's out there. He wrote them, and
his name is Mud. I don't think he's ever going to get a head coaching job again because of that.
You think players are going to play for that guy?
Yeah, right.
And isn't he suing the league or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so never mind the fact that he's whatever. No. But, Mazz, Murray, this is a big week. This is a big week. They can stop the bleeding. And what I mean by the bleeding, I mean everyone talking about Bill's done, Mac Jones is done. Like, that's been the conversation this week. And if they lose again, that's not just a conversation. Like, that's it. I mean, don't you think? And I know it's only 1-4 if they lose. I mean, there's time to recover, but no one thinks they would. They wouldn't think they would. Guys would start letting go of the rope. If you don't start beating beatable opponents, and you can't beat good opponents, it's over. And so, Mazz, a tremendous amount of pressure this week. Belichick and Mac Jones, don't you think?
Mike, I said this earlier in the week when Paul Perillo was here, and again, I'm jumping way ahead, but they then play the Raiders, and the following two are against Buffalo and at Miami. I think you've got to win the next two, but you can only win one at a time. So this week, the answer is yes. If you lose one of these next two, you're looking at 2-6. Okay, you're looking at 2-6 if you don't win both of these. So I think that's staring you right in the face. But start at 1-3. I agree. I know you get mad at me when I jump ahead. So they are 1-3 right now. You lose your 1-4. Yes, look out below. It starts to slide downhill very quickly.
Oh, it's over. I mean, you think there was a conversation this week? Holy smokes. It's over after this week if they don't win. So we'll be talking about that a lot today. The last stand, the last chance for Belichick and Mac Jones to stop the bleeding, and then it just starts again next week, as Mazz just said. But first things first is the Saints.